question tonight about the role that the president's language might have played in these violent incidents. Authorities in El Paso are focusing on the anti-immigrant screed, echoing the president's invasion rhetoric that was posted just moments before the gunman opened fire there. It, in turn, mirrors what we saw from the gunman who carried out the Tree of Life synagogue massacre last October. He also warned of an immigrant invasion. And while America's gun violence epidemic predates this president, the Democratic presidential candidates believe there's a direct link between these incidents and President Trump.
We have a president of the United States who is clearly a racist, who has clearly been motivated by speaking to the lowest common denominator.
Mr. President, it's long past time you addressed it for what it is. This is hatred, pure and simple, and it's being fueled by rhetoric that is so divisive and it's causing people to die.
Well, there's no question that white nationalism is condoned at the highest levels of our government.
He certainly has done everything that the white nationalists have wanted him to do.
It's outrageous and absurd, and he needs to take responsibility for the hate he has spewed, the division he's called in America, the racism he's inspired.
He's trafficked in this stuff from the very beginning, and we are reaping right now what he has sown and what his supporters in Congress have sown. We have to put a stop to it.
So amid that barrage of Democratic criticism, the president addressed the shootings this morning, over 48 hours after the first shots were fired in El Paso. He condemned ideologies that seemed to be fueled by his own rhetoric and described what he thought contributed to these mass shootings, though nothing he described touched on the guns that were used in these shootings.
The shooter in El Paso posted a manifesto online consumed by racist hate. In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Hatred warps the mind, ravages the heart, and devours the soul. We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. We must reform our mental health laws to better identify mentally disturbed individuals who may commit acts of violence. Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun.
But nothing that the president said during his remarks today can reverse the years of attacks that he has waged against immigrants and people of color.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
You know what? We're not letting these people invade our country. You look at the border, and you look at the hundreds of thousands of people that are invading, or at least trying to invade our country, you would know that we need it.
We have an invasion of drugs, invasion of gangs, invasion of people.
I don't care what the fake media says, that's an invasion of our country. Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that statement.
And breaking in the New York Times a few moments before we sat down here tonight to be with you, a story with this headline: how the Trump campaign used Facebook ads to amplify his invasion claim. New reporting in the New York Times about the deliberate campaign strategy, the use of campaign dollars to pay for messages on Facebook, amplifying his warnings, his rhetoric about an invasion.
We have an invasion. It's critical that we stop the invasion. Over $1 million on Facebook ads about immigration since March. More than 2,000 ads on Facebook using that word invasion. It is inescapable. And the question is whether the White House sees any imperative to do anything about it at all, now that there are other parts of the country that are bearing the sharp end of this.
And whether any Republicans in Congress, to put a finer point on it, the gun debate is frozen because Republicans are AWOL. There's an open question now if Republicans are going to also be AWOL on the question of white nationalism.
Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Veronica Escobar of Texas. Her district includes the Walmart in El Paso, where Saturday's mass shooting took place. Congressman Escobar, we feel honored that you took time to be with us tonight. Our condolences, of course, to you and to your community. Thank you for making the time to be here.